Road to St. George, everybody. This is an amazing day. I have Andrew Messick, CEO of Ironman, and he is somebody who was tasked with what I consider probably one of the biggest challenges ever. He had to keep the Ironman ship afloat for almost 2 years, is it, Andrew, where there was actually no racing?
Yeah, we've been through a lot in the last couple of years, and it's without a doubt the most difficult period in our company's history. And it included 6 months between March of 2020 and August of 2020, where we didn't conduct a single in-person event anywhere in the world. And it was extremely difficult, not just for our company, but for all of our athletes who take great satisfaction and in training and racing, and the structure of preparing for races and organizing your life around events is a really important thing for our athletes around the world. And to walk right into the pandemic and have no sense of when racing will be back or what it will look like, it's been very challenging for our athletes, for our communities, for the company, for everybody.
I know a lot of the athletes that I coach are breathing a sigh of relief. And I think that first breath of relief came last September in St. George, Ironman 70.3 World Championships. First World Championship that Ironman put on since Kona 2019. But more exciting for me is going to be St. George in May, just because it's going, even though it's 2022, it's going to be the 2021 World Championship, just so that didn't fall off the map completely. And was that an easy decision to use St. George as that venue?
St. George has been a fantastic partner for us for years and years and years. And they've been accommodating and flexible, always willing to help. And when it became clear that the 2021 Ironman World Championship wasn't going to be able to happen, we thought briefly that we'd be able to have it take place in February of 2021 in Kailua Kona. COVID had other plans. And so when that race started to wobble, we were able to start talking to our friends in St. George, and we're able to say, let's take what was then going to be the North American Championship, but largely an age group race, in May of 2022, and turn that into the 2021 Ironman World Championship. And it really required the goodwill of the Utah Sports Commission and everybody in the greater St. George area. But we think it's an elegant and fantastic solution, because we're going to be able to have a world championship race on a course and in a community that really is worthy of it. Because for those of you who haven't been to St. George, it's not unlike Kona in that the physical environment casts a really long shadow over the race, and that you're really the racing is very much integrated to the environment. And we think that people are going to really love that and really appreciate not just the physical beauty of St. George, which is tremendous, but it's a legitimate world championship course in swim, in bike, and in run. And we think that's a really exciting component of the race and of St. George.
For me, that's what's really interesting, is that there's, as all of you watching know, there's more climbing on the bike than there is in Kona. The elevation gain on the marathon is a lot more. Obviously a different environment. You're not going to have exactly the same heat, the same humidity, very different physically looking environment. You've got the ocean and the lava versus the red rock and Snow Canyon and just these iconic places in St. George. So I think the challenge is pretty equal. Very different kinds of challenges, but very equal. And like you said, so worthy of a world championship course.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a challenging day for everybody, and
Hmm.
we want that. There's we think that a world championship event should be a little bit harder. It should require a little more from the athletes,
Hmm.
and that combined with a much higher level of competition, the field of athletes for both professionals and age groupers is going to be exceptional. It will create a worthy and legitimate world championship experience for everybody who's there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who can temper that enthusiasm and not go too hard on the bike and then end up having one of those iconic meltdowns on the marathon. I've had a chance actually in the series here, Road to St. George, to talk to some of the pro athletes, and they are super excited about it. They said, Kona has a specific challenge, but for us, it's really exciting to race the distance all together once again with maybe a slightly different challenge. Kona it has the heat, it has the humidity. St. George has the elevation gain, it has the climbing, it has the descending. Is this maybe a window into possibly having future Ironman World Championship events outside of Kona?
So I think the answer to that is maybe. The World Championship for the Ironman is so historically linked to Hawaii. And there is an allure and there is a myth, and it's a really vital and important part of what Ironman is all about. But being able to try and see what a world championship outside of Hawaii looks like is going to be really interesting for us, and we'll have an opportunity to gauge the reaction of athletes, to see what kind of racing takes place, to see what type of athletes are able to compete successfully. And part of what we've learned over the years, and we've been, it's been coming up on a decade that we've had 70.3 world championships rotating to different parts of the world. And we've seen that be enormously instrumental in the growth of the Ironman 70.3 brand, and to see different types of athletes competing on different types of courses in different parts of the world, I think has added a lot. And so 70.3 Worlds has never been associated with a place the way that the Ironman World Championship has been associated with the Big Island of Hawaii. But we're going to learn a lot in May, and I think it's gonna give us a lot of really good information to be able to really have some interesting conversations around what's the future of the Ironman World Championship.
Well, for sure, Kona and the Big Island that's kind of like the mothership, but that doesn't, as you said, doesn't necessarily mean that there's not other opportunities to experience the real spirit of Ironman, the spirit of Hawaii, brought in a new competitive environment. I'm super excited about it. I can tell you are. The athletes who are going to be competing there, they're all frothing, they're ready to go. My guess is that when that first person enters the water in May, that's going to be a big sigh of relief for you, saying, thank God we have another Ironman World Championship underway.
It's true. And we have, we're going to have 5 days of World Championship racing in 2022. And and we're going to be in St. George for 3 of those, with 70.3 Worlds coming later in the fall. And then we have 2 days of the Ironman World Championship in Kona. And that also is going to represent some really profound changes, in that a 2-day Kona with professional men and professional women each having their own day, with all of the women racing on Thursday the 6th. That represents a big change for us too. And so I think at the end of 2022, we're going to have a lot to talk about and a lot to think about what does World Championship racing look like in the Ironman ecosystem, and it's going to be really exciting and big steps forward for for our ability to welcome and host women,
Mm.
and create really compelling racing experiences for people from all over the world.
Ironman has evolved over the years. Clearly, this is going to be another step in that evolution. As you said, super exciting. Andrew, thank you so much for taking time today. I know you have a lot on your plate. All of you watching, Andrew is going to be in St. George. I can guarantee you that. He'll be in Kona. I can guarantee you that. I will be at both of those places. We both hope to see all of you out there. Thanks for stopping by today. Road to St. George, Andrew Messick, and me, Mark Allen. We'll see you the next time.
Thanks, Mark.